Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 30-year-old Virginia resident Meghan Rutledge traveled to D.C. with her father and other family members. And on January 6th, she texted a friend and she wrote in part, quote, "If Trump wins, we will come back for inauguration." So following Donald Trump's speech, she and her family walked to the Capitol. They were seen climbing the inauguration scaffolding. They made their way to the Upper West Terrace, and around 3:15 p.m., they were seen entering the Capitol. So broken glass was on the ground, the alarms were blaring. They knew they were not allowed inside. And the prosecutor pointed out, Rutledge is married to a police officer. So she absolutely knew that what she was doing was wrong. She should have known better. She should have had more respect for the police that day. But Rutledge wasn't inside the Capitol for very long. But, as I've said before, everyone who was there that day contributed to the siege. So even the so-called peaceful protesters distracted the police, prevented them from helping their fellow officers. So she's not innocent. But after leaving the Capitol, she implicated herself on Facebook. She posted a bunch of photos that she took at the Capitol, and she wrote, quote, "After miles and miles of walking and climbing some more, we made it inside the Capitol building. What an experience for the books." So that night, a friend texted her and they asked Rutledge about her experience at the Capitol and if the media was being honest about what they saw or what happened. So Rutledge sent a very long text back and she made it sound like a love fest. She basically gave the Donald Trump speech, oh, so much love in the air. Oh, so much camaraderie, blah, blah, blah. She did, however, admit, quote, "The only thing I witnessed that I personally just didn't feel right about was breaking down doors and busting through windows of the Capitol building." So again, she knew. She knew they didn't get in because they were let in. But she actually had the ovaries to say, quote, "Everyone was looking out for the police who were just doing their jobs." Really? Really? Were they looking out for the police as they doused them with bear spray, as they beat them with batons and flagpoles and all kinds of things? Were they looking out for the police when they tasered Michael Fanone into having a heart attack? Aw, how sweet of them. So anyway, the next day, Rutledge changed her story. Surprise, surprise. She posted on Instagram and she blamed the right-wing boogeyman, of course, Antifa. Rutledge also mentioned in her message to her friend and also in this Instagram post that the police did deploy tear gas and that they shot people with rubber bullets. And she tried to use that to say that the media was being deceptive because people online and in the media were saying that the police didn't use enough force, that they didn't use as much force as they did during the BLM protests. And so this was a form of white privilege, which it totally was, right? If that had been a black crowd, there would have been dead bodies everywhere. So I don't think Rutledge realizes bringing up the tear gas and bringing up these rubber bullets, it just makes the case against her and her fellow mob members. It proves she and everyone else knew damn well they were not allowed on the Capitol grounds, and they chose to ignore the law. So Rutledge was arrested on October 13th of 2021, and she was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. In October of 2022, Rutledge pleaded guilty to the parading charge. So she was looking at up to 6 months in prison, 5 years of probation, and $5,000 in fines. The prosecutor, though, requested only 30 days of home detention, 3 years of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $500 in restitution. They went easy on her because she has only one conviction. It was from 2016. It was only for possession of weed. I bet they regretted this, though, at the sentencing hearing, because she changed her story again. Earlier in the process, she claimed she only went inside the building because she was looking for the fourth member of her group. Well, at the sentencing hearing, Rutledge had a new story. She said, "Oh, I had no cell signal, and so I had to stay with my father, or we wouldn't have any way to communicate with each other. So we couldn't split up. I had to go in the building with him." Really? So which is it? So U.S. District Judge Colleen Kolar-Catelli presided over Rutledge's case, and she told her, quote, "You did participate in an insurrection. The alarm was blaring. Windows were broken. Doors broken. You were clearly not authorized to be inside the Capitol. You went ahead and entered and took selfies inside the Capitol." Then the judge also took issue with one of her online posts that said that there was no violence that day. And she reminded Rutledge that more than 140 officers were injured. And then she said, quote, "There was no Antifa, despite what people say." Also, quote, "Violence is an unacceptable way to resolve political differences. You should appreciate how lucky you are to live in this democracy rather than a country led by authoritarians." So Judge Kolar-Catelli told Rutledge, quote, "I'm not totally convinced you understand what you did was wrong. Whether you get swept along or not, I haven't heard any remorse." So based on that, based on what I know of this judge that's pretty tough, I expected a much better outcome. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of sexism in the sentencing decisions for these January 6 convicts. I have to admit, women have been getting a lot easier treatment. They have been getting off far easier than the men. This is a perfect example because in the end, Rutledge was sentenced to only 3 years of probation. That's it. No fine, no restitution fee. I don't know what the hell this judge was thinking. I thought the prosecutor was being weak, but then she just threw in all her chips. I don't get it. So I would not be surprised to see this woman back at it if she doesn't get her way in November. You know, you'd think that a cop's wife would be more concerned about following the law. But then again, you know, maybe she thinks she is above the law because she's married to an officer. We've seen that as well. So I will let you know if I hear any more. So far, she's kept her nose clean. So far, I haven't heard anything negative. Let's hope that holds. Like I said, you know, is she going to throw another tantrum if she doesn't get her way in November? All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.